friends, Marci Sauter, the Rusty Blonde. Welcome back to my channel today. We are here with Crissy, and she is going to talk about her hospital stay and everything she went through for her VSG surgery experience.
Yeah.
So,
here we are post-surgery. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Because the last time we talked, it was pre-surgery, and we couldn't even believe it.
I know.
Like, wow, it's here. But
Yeah.
now it's post-surgery. It's like, oh,
Goes
it's
by
here.
quick.
It's kind of, oh, we're here. This is not for the faint of heart,
I
people. Not at all. So, post-surgery. Let's start with going into the hospital the day of my surgery. So, I had a really great doctor. My doctor's been doing bariatric treatments in the Phoenix, Arizona / Valley area for at least 20 years. I've heard some people say 40 years. He's an older man, so maybe he looks young though. You look good, Doc. You look good. He is pretty much an expert in his field. He's amazing. He has the best bedside manner because he is completely thorough and upfront with everyone. His office staff, not so much. So we will leave the names out to protect the not so innocent, I guess. So on the day that I was supposed to go to surgery, I was supposed to have my surgery. It was scheduled for noon. I was supposed to be there by 10. I arrive at 10. They don't see me on the list. This is not the first time this has happened, unfortunately. So I find out shortly after that I wasn't actually scheduled until 1:30. Something they forgot to tell me. So here I am at 10 a.m. after fasting for 9 days. Then I fast all day long to go into this surgery, blah, blah, blah. Well, if only that were the worst of it. Yes,
So
it is
hard.
But if only that were the worst. So I have the surgery, and we discussed things ahead of time, including the not so great aspects of the staff. And they put me into La La Land. And the next thing I knew, I was waking up and I was just alive with pain. My entire stomach felt like it was on fire. If I moved at all, it was painful. You just don't know how much you use those stomach muscles until something like this happens. It was pretty bad. So the first day after surgery, I was not really too coherent. It was pushing the pill button, like drugs. And they even kept me an additional day because of the complications that I experienced during my surgery, which I later found out. I later found out that supposedly my stomach is longer, not larger, longer than the average girl's
Right, and
stomach.
that's exactly what.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. It was longer.
Longer. I don't know if he's
Than
being
usual.
PC or if he knows big girls don't like to hear big, so he's going with longer. Or if I think it was really longer. So they were supposed to call my husband afterwards. They were supposed to, Marci was going to be notified. My work was going to be notified. So I went into surgery at about. It was still later than normal, but it was like 1 o'clock. So it was still a half an hour earlier than what I was really scheduled for. But I don't think anybody got a call until probably 5 or close to 5.
I think it was 6, actually.
Yeah, something like that.
I had texted her husband at like 5:45, and I said, Wade, have you heard from the hospital? If not, I think it's time to start calling. And anyways, he called me and said that he had been trying to call them, and they didn't even have record of her being there. And I was like, what? I'm going to go down there. This is ridiculous. So he told me like the exact location of where she was. I looked it up, and I called the number that I found there. And they were like, oh, well, you're not on the list, and because of our Privacy Act. And I'm like, look. Her husband just tried calling. You guys said she was nowhere on the list. That's ridiculous. We know she's there. He dropped her off here. Her name's Crissy'S Vsg. I know that she's up there somewhere. And the lady was like, okay, I'll transfer you to her level. I'm like, thank you. That confirms she's there, right?
Yes.
Well, then her nurse answered the phone and said, I can't release any information. I said, we just want to make sure she's okay. Her husband needs to get through. And she was nice but firm. She couldn't tell me anything. So I called her husband back and I said, I got a hold of someone, call this number, and she's on this floor in this room. They were able to tell me that. So I gave that to her husband, and he got right through to the nurse's station.
Yeah, I think
So
I think that was because the surgery went later than they thought. I didn't get settled as soon as they thought, and then they were trying to manage my pain afterwards because it's pretty crazy. When I talked to my doctor later, he said that incision that they make up here, specifically the top, left or right, I don't know, some people have right, some people have left, mine's left, is the most painful because that's where they yank the stomach out. And I guess that when you have a longer than normal stomach, it hurts a lot.
Aww.
So I got through that first day, and then,
Barely.
Oh, wow, I barely remember it. It was pretty bad. I don't remember talking to my husband, but I did remember that he was interrupting conversations I was having with people that weren't there, so that was rude. Those drugs, man, they were pretty heavy. But my nurse was pretty great the first day. It was, I'll tell you, I will mention one name, and that's Tempe St. Luke's. They were fantastic. Everybody there, almost everybody there, was amazing. Everyone was kind, nice, did everything they could to make up for whatever issue or misunderstanding for my surgery time. They were just really flexible. They tried to make me as comfortable as possible. It was a great hospital. So beyond that, the doctor decided I needed to stay an additional day. I wasn't ready to be discharged because they had just finally started to getting my pain under control. So I stayed an extra day. He came back the next day, which was a Saturday. I was surprised to see him. I was like, what are you doing here? Like, shouldn't you have some kind of like low-level grunt coming here to see me? And he's like, you're my patient. He came to see you. He's a nice guy. So, got out of the hospital, discharged to home. I was pretty much unable to move the first 3 days for sure on my own. So I would have to call my husband or call my son and ask them if they could, because inevitably I'd like somehow get in a position where I couldn't get out of it. Because this right here takes stomach muscles to get up from. And so I would call and be like, can you help me? Can you please pull me up out of this? Sometimes in the middle of the night. So it's difficult. Your recuperation time afterwards is significant, especially the first week, I would say. And it's not like you're able to intake a lot of nutrients.
Right.
So you still feel really weak and hurting. And so your body's doesn't even have what it needs to repair what it's trying to repair at that point. So you just have to do the best you can to get through it. The great thing is, even though I said a million times, why did I do this? This is the worst thing I've ever done in my life. What was I thinking? Is that it's worth it. It's worth it. It is going to be worth it, I'm sure.
It is. No, so I have to tell you, I don't know about you guys. I just know about my experience, and I was put on a liquid diet. And I'm going to have her share with you what her first meal was at the hospital because I'm pretty sure my mouth dropped.
Yeah. Well, absolutely, and I'll send you a photo because I actually took photos.
Oh, good. So we'll pin it up here in this
Yeah,
video.
let's put it in the video. Where I had an ounce of pudding, an ounce of yogurt, and an ounce of cream-based soup.
Okay, did you guys have any of that? I know I didn't. That just seemed crazy to me.
Yeah. Straight out of the gate. They
Right?
put me on full liquids.
Which, do you remember if that was your first night after surgery or the next morning? Or
yeah, I
somewhere
didn't
in
have.
between?
I don't remember my first night, so it was.
Okay,
it was
so
the
it
next
was that
morning.
next morning. So
Yeah.
not even 24 hours after surgery. That's what she was given on her tray to eat.
Yes.
Were you
And I
able
asked
to eat it?
No, not at
Oh,
all.
okay.
Not at all. I ate ice chips
Okay.
and I sipped water, but I think I put my spoon into the pudding and licked a tiny bit off, and that was it.
That was it.
Ice chips were my very best friend. It sounded the best, it tastes the best, it was so refreshing. So I think I did what Marci came over for today, which we'll probably talk about a little bit later, maybe second video. And I did what I shouldn't have done, which is I drank a lot of my stomach room. The room that was available in my stomach, I would drink more than I took in any kind of nutritional value. And they also gave me protein shakes if I wanted them. This is the first time I have ever, and this just occurred to me, ever been in the hospital. I've had 3 babies. This is the first time I've ever been in the, and it sounds like me. First time I've ever been in the hospital that I have not ordered food. First time. And let me tell you, you are just not interested. Not at all. It's like 9 days of no food, so what? Let me have 9 days more. You don't care. It's just the only thing that I wanted, even personally, were the ice chips in the water. Something that hydrated me. I felt dehydrated, but other than that, I didn't want to eat anything. I didn't want to see food. I didn't want to smell food. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I was in what do they call that? Like a hall, but it's like a ward or whatever of rooms of people that just had surgery for various reasons. So it was so funny because they would bring my food, and you guys will see the picture, on this like paper plate, which is really like styrofoam, with these 3 little cups on it. Everybody else has got this big tray and all their food and stuff, and I'm like,
yeah.
so it's definitely a shock. It's not like you've lived your life that way ever before. So different. But it was definitely more than I could manage. And even sending me home, I had some kind of conflicting directions, which I also asked Marci to help me with. Full liquids, you would think, are liquids only.
Right.
Clear liquids, broth, water, ice, Jell-O.
Your protein shake.
Exactly, but that is not the case, apparently.
No, it's pretty wild.
Full liquids to them is, it means cream soups. It means pudding. It means
Cream of wheat was on
cream
there.
of wheat. And so I think as a consequence, I try to do too much too fast, but again, we'll get to that. I just want to say, for the first part of this video, we wanted to talk about checking in at the hospital and what that was like. Everybody was wonderful. Everybody was kind. You just get moved to a bed where you just kind of hang out. They allow you to have your phone. There's nobody there with you. So
nobody could go with her.
Yeah, so I just
That
kind
was
of,
such a bummer.
I kind of listened to this book I had on Audible. I put the earphones in and laid back and just relaxed a little bit until it was time. And when it was time, like I said, they put me under. I didn't know anything. And I guess I was under probably for quite a while, and longer than what they thought. But I made it through, and I'm recuperating, I'm recovering. My doctor's amazing, and I'm going to do great. And as of today, I am 25 pounds down. And how many days did we figure now?
It was
18 days.
18 from the
9
time
days.
she started the liquid diet.
Yes. 9 days of that, 9 days post, and it's 25 pounds down,
Yeah.
which is pretty amazing. And Marci asked me earlier, when's the last time you lost 25 pounds? Well, it's been a good long while, and it took a lot longer than 18 days.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. So I look forward to learning how to do this, and that's what we'll talk about, I guess, in our next video. Because it's important that you do it correctly, otherwise you're just self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
thanks for everybody listening to my story. I'm sorry if it's boring, but I hope it helps anyone.
We're not boring. She's not boring. No way.
Corny. That's the word I was looking for. I get it. I get it. I'm okay with that.
So, okay. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you on our next video. The next video is going to be all about her 9 days of post-op surgery and everything she's had to go through since being home. All right, you guys, take care. Bye.